This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
You know, we often try to engage the Chinese community, and if you're knocking on their door, they're not opening it, or there's a level of lack of, registering, giving personal information, and those kinds of things. So, if we're looking at messages they're receiving on social media platforms, how can our security services distinguish between materials written in, say, Cantonese, Mandarin, that originate from, say, a government source in China, and those written by Canadians that here in Canada, Chinese Canadians? Anybody, if Ms. Wong, maybe, and yeah, Ms. Wong, please.
Sounds good. I can point folks to our report in plain sight, particularly in the information and narrative discursion warfare section. So yes, while the CCP uses their formal state, platforms on WeChat, on Weibo to talk about their ideology and their narratives, those narratives are also repeated by media outlets that have friendly relationships with the CCP. We see that through training camps where Beijing would host ethnic Chinese language media all around the world to come and talk about how to tell a good China story. So while these ethnic Chinese language media aren't exactly state outlets, they are repeating state narratives. So these are the types of kind of gray area and nuances that we have to navigate and to learn how to counter. Another aspect is, the use of influencers and social media key opinion leaders to tell China's story. So while they are individuals who are not state affiliated, their narratives are parroting the state's narrative points. And, for us in the community, when we read these coverage and these types of posts, it's really clear to us that it is parroting exactly what the state would have said, but it would be a lot more difficult for people who do not have the digital literacy training or the background knowledge to identify these as state narratives.
Okay, and then, if we're comparing it...
I think my colleague, Ms. Lau, would actually have a lot to add on this. So
I think Mr. Baines may have another question here. So, Mr. Baines, or are you going to continue on with?
Yeah, just maybe Ms. Lau can join in and just give us maybe a comparison of, say, domestic, misinformation, disinformation, even in local Canadian content or American content.
Hi, yeah. So I just wanted to also point out that a lot of this is when we talk about the interconnected facets of foreign interference, Sherry had brought up the point that a lot of the underfunding of these communities also contribute to these problems. So for example, for media, a lot of these incentives to produce, I would say, or reproduce party lines is due to business deals and being opened up to the China market. There are levers there that would also, for example, the difference between different social media platforms in China and how they interact with overseas media. That's something to look into, certainly. I can say, observing Chinese language media, there are not a lot of resources being funded for ethnic reporters. A lot of these companies are marketing companies instead. And additionally, so there's no real, I would say, original reporting being done in Chinese language media that is being reproduced.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lau.